Hey class, how's it going? Welcome to week 5 of Comm through 15, Designing for Social Media. Let's talk about what's due really fast. So this is the first week where we're going to start a project. We got a couple things that are due. And let's just talk about the project really fast, and then we'll get into the reverse engineer post as well. So we have a reverse engineer post, which is going to be, we have 2 things due on Wednesday and Saturday. Then we have the project itself. Now the project, this is the brand identity project. Hopefully through the first half of the semester, or first little bit, we've been thinking about what brand are you going to use and kind of build for all the different projects that we're going to be working on and the different principles that we've learned in the class in order to kind of help make a success out of those projects. So the brand basically you're going to start working on this week is it's all about like the project. It's all about preparing yourself to like finalize and get everything ready to really finish. In iLearn, it kind of identifies it both as like a draft week. I wouldn't necessarily it's a draft because by the end of this week you're going to be turning in a final logo and a final style guide. Next week it'll be something totally different. Yes, you're going to be using the logo and style guide as part of next week's assignment as well, but by the end of this week you're going to be turning in a final piece of work. So the first due date is all about kind of getting prepared. You're going to go through the IPI plan, and if you remember that from a couple weeks ago is one of our reading, and then we have some quiz on it. Basically, you're going to work on the first 2 sections, the identify and plan sections. For the identify section, and you'll find these questions in iLearn. You'll talk about what is the main clear message of your brand, who's your audience. So you're going to define your audience here. What actions would you like your audience to take? When do you expect your audience to take this action? This should be more than just immediately, like, what's the goal of your brand identity project? And you're going to kind of illustrate it and talk about it here. Then you're going to do the seascape principles. So you're going to talk about like which seascape principles will help accompany your brand's message. How will the seascape principles connect with your audience and get them to take the action that you kind of listed above. And then what are like some taboos that should be avoided when branding your channel? There's a lot of taboos out there based off of the audience and the industry you're entering. So for example, and this primarily fits with photography people. Most photographers, and throughout the years that I've been teaching this so far, a lot of photographers will brand their channel and they'll literally use for their logo either brackets, a camera, or like a shutter or aperture. And that's going to be part of their brand. That's just overplayed as a photographer. And so that would be what I consider a taboo when it comes to branding your channel and branding your identity. So you're going to identify those things at first. You're going to need to do a little bit of research. This section probably should take you more than 30 minutes to kind of fill out, and then you're going to spend some time on your plan section where you're going to plan the strategy and kind of the steps in order to complete all that tasks that you need to do. So you're going to talk about the who, what will you do in the branding project to connect with your audience. We kind of labeled that ahead. Yes, you can copy and paste if there's overlap between things. Where do the channels have to have different requirements or taboos? On Facebook, you're going to kind of list out the different. Like you'll need to brand your cover image, you need to brand your profile image. Instagram, you don't need to do that. Twitter, you do have it. So you're going to want to identify the different channel requirements and then maybe taboos that they have amongst those specific social channels. List each piece of content you're going to need to need for the project, and describe what each of those pieces of content will contain. So this is like where you can literally go through and be like, okay, this is everything that I need in order to finish this project. And then when you're going to create a schedule for the project, Gantt charts, how we did those is a great option. You don't necessarily have to do a Gantt chart. You can just kind of do a timeline where these are all the different activities and these are the dates that I need to finish these by. I promise that as you create a schedule, it's going to help you with time management. You're going to really succeed kind of not leaving things for the last minute. And then finally, at the very end of the strategy stage, the plan stage, you're going to define success. This is where you're going to define, okay, what are are there going to be metrics? What can I define as a success for this project? For the brand identity project, part of your success will probably be getting the brand up and running. But then, maybe you're going to send that out to all of your current family and friends and everyone on social media, and encourage them to follow, and you can kind of take a guess on how many people will do that at that point, and how many people will actually follow. So that's what I want you to do for the IPI plan for the project. The next section of the project, this is what's due on a Wednesday, and you're going to talk about your voice statement. You're going to build out your voice statement. Now, this is going to be a lot like the personal manifesto that you had in the past. It's going to be a short description of the tone or mood of the brand. Just talk about the what, where, and how, kind of like what the personal manifesto was, right? Okay, and then finally, the last thing that's due on a Wednesday is your 20 logo sketches. Now, the 20 logo sketches, they should be quick and they're not refined. You can take one concept, and maybe mess with it a couple times. 20 sketches, honestly, you're gonna burn through that really, really fast. It's pretty minimal. I suggest you do as many as you can, because then the more you do, the more refined of a project you're gonna get in the very end, and the better project you're gonna have. So that's what's due by our first due date, Wednesday by 11. Go to Facebook if you have any questions on any of this stuff. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll respond back. By Saturday, we have our final logo. So basically by Saturday, you have finished up your logo, and you're going to be putting that into your style guide. On Thursday, you'll have a chance to get critiques. Okay, so watch for the opportunity to get critiques. If you're on campus, we'll do that in class. If you're online, you will do that through a Facebook post. That it's going to be special on Thursdays, where you can post it if you want a critique on anything. I'll try and critique back for those that are online by Friday, but in class we'll do it all in class. By Saturday, you're going to have your style guide is due. The style guide should include your voice statement, your final logo usage, color scheme, typography rules, visual examples. An audience statement is not on this list, but that's also included on that. So look for that. Look for more instructions on the style guide. That is pretty much what's due this week, Wednesday and Saturday. It's a lot to get through, so be prepared to put in some time and effort. From here on out, the homework level for this class is going to increase drastically. So get ready to put in some time and effort. The more you do, the more you reach out to me, the more you want feedback, the more I can give you feedback and hopefully help you guys have an awesome project. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so this is in Facebook, and if you guys have any questions, well, first off, you know where to go. This is week 5, right? Totally ask your questions. If I don't respond within 24 hours, I probably didn't see it, so you try and tag me again and say, hey, have you seen this? Or just send me an email kind of thing. But as we were just talking about the branding project, here's where you're going to post your branding draft. This has all of the write-up that you should do. So this is basically just a straight-up copy from iLearn. Okay, and then here's the section on your reverse engineer post. So let's go into first due date, reverse engineer post. Yes, I'm still here. Okay, so first due date, basically you have a reverse engineer post, and what you guys are going to do for this assignment is you're going to go out and find a brand and analyze it. You're going to go out and find their channels and basically look at their channels, and you're going to analyze what are they doing on their channels to make it access, to connect with their audience, to all that kind of stuff, and especially with the design, what are they doing design wise to make their channels great? And so you're going to write a blog post, and you're going to do draw overs. This is where our reverse engineer posts are going to slightly change, and this is how it's going to be for the rest of the semester. So every other week you're going to be doing your reverse engineer post, and you're going to do draw overs. Here's draw over instructions. If you guys want to watch a video on that, it'll walk you through it and kind of show you how to do draw over instructions. You need to do basically 3 principles of design you need to talk about within your blog post. So introduction, you need to write an introduction to your blog post. You need to talk about, one, you need to show an unaltered original design. You need to give back any background information to help set up the rest of the post, an introduction to the audience and how the brand is connecting to that group, and how are they using the Seascape principles. Then you're going to get into the analysis, where you're going to talk about, you're going to create the drawovers, and here's a list of some examples of design principles that you guys can use in order to really illustrate, what they're doing well design-wise, right? So you need to do at least 3 of these. This is, again, it's for your benefit. It's not for my benefit to go through and read these. So I would recommend not to pick the same design principles every single time, right? It's super easy to talk about the rule of thirds. Try and change it up just so you can kind of benefit yourself, okay? So that's going to be your analysis. 3 principles within 1 blog post, and then you're going to do the conclusion. You're going to write a brief description of how the above principles contributed to the overall design. Okay, that's due by the first due date. Reverse engineer post. If we scroll down, this is where we get into the brand identity stuff, which we already covered. Okay, by the second due dates, reverse engineer post. You're going to make your comments. So the first one, at the very bottom, after you've written and published your blog post, add a link to the coinciding post to your class's Facebook group. Okay, so then by Saturday, you're making comments on at least 3 of your peers' Facebook comments. Do you agree, disagree? Suggest a source that cites that supports you, or a site that supports your position. Do they leave something out? Any additional viewpoint? Again, affirmation posts like, I like the way you explain this, I agree, even if it's longer, but it's just, I really like the way you did this. This is fantastic. It looks really good. I think, this was really interesting. And you wrote all of that. It's still just an affirmation post, and you won't get credit for it. Okay. Then here's the instructions. This is going to be especially important when we're looking at the projects coming up, this week and next week. You guys really need to watch and read through these things, okay? Each one of these is worth some points when you're turning it in. So, your name, my name, section number, a screenshot of your original blog post. So that means I need a full screenshot of your blog post. This is primarily here for cheating. I'm not going to go actually follow the link to your blog post. I'm going to read it in the grading part of iLearn. The only reason I ask for the link is sometimes your screenshots can be small and I can't really read it. But again, the screenshot of your original blog post is there for cheating. And so make sure you guys include that. So you also need a link for your original blog post, and then you're going to need a screenshot of your initial Facebook post where you shared your blog post, and then 3 screenshots of your 3 comments from Facebook itself. And you're going to turn that all into iLearn. That's it for this week. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'm just trying to make sure I covered everything. Yeah, and this is just back on the project really fast. So at the very bottom of the page, we're going to see the instructions. It's the same kind of setup: first and last name, section, semester, and professor. If you plan, this is a screenshot of your expanded Facebook post from the first due date. The voice statement from the first due date. 20 logo sketches from the first due date, the screenshots, 3 critiques, because you're going to do critiques on people's stuff for the project as well. And then you're going to do the style guide, which should also include your finalized logo, the voice statement, and so on. Okay, so this ending PDF probably will be kind of big. Your first name and section number and all that kind of stuff. Technically, if you leave that as a comment, that's fine. If you guys do your IPI plan, voice statement, and 20 logo sketches as a separate PDF or individually uploaded, I'm okay with that too. Just because you might have one pretty large PDF to upload with your style guide. That's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you again next week.